Welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to be exploring a new, minimally invasive technique for performing brain biopsies in dogs and cats
Oh, wow.
using 3D printed devices.
This is a fascinating development, and your source material really highlights the potential.
Absolutely. And, you know, accurately diagnosing brain lesions in these animals has always been a challenge for vets, even with advanced imaging, like MRIs. Pinpointing the exact nature of a lesion can be tough.
Yeah. And there's often significant overlap in the way different lesions appear on MRI.
So a vet could see something on the MRI, think it's a stroke, but it's actually a tumor.
Precisely. And that's where a biopsy comes in. It's the gold standard.
Because looking at the actual tissue under a microscope gives you a much clearer picture than just an image can.
Exactly. And knowing the exact type of lesion is crucial for determining treatment and providing a prognosis to the owner.
So tell us more about this 3D printed solution. How does it work?
Well, the researchers in France created a custom-made biopsy guide for each patient using CT scans and MRI data.
So they tailored the device to the individual anatomy of each animal.
Yes. The device itself consists of a base plate that fits against the dog or cat's upper jaw and a C-arm that attaches to the base plate and guides the biopsy needle.
Okay, so it's like a little miniature GPS for the brain.
That's a great analogy. And to ensure accuracy, they first tested the device on canine cadavers with lesions in different parts of the brain.
They could confirm that the device would work in different scenarios.
Exactly. The results were promising, the device fit perfectly, and they were able to get biopsies from all the targeted lesions.
That's great. So after that, they moved on to testing the device in live animals.
Yes. They conducted a clinical study with 4 dogs and 1 cat.
And were the animals all similar in breed and size?
No, not at all. They had a Chihuahua, a couple of brachycephalic breeds like French bulldogs, and a few others. They wanted to test it on a range of skull shapes and sizes.
That makes sense. What kind of lesions were they targeting?
A variety of suspected lesions, from tumors to inflammatory conditions. And remarkably, the smallest lesion successfully biopsied was only 0.45 cubic centimeters.
That's tiny. So they were able to get accurate biopsies even from very small lesions.
Yes, and that's one of the most exciting aspects.
So what were the overall results? Were they able to get a definitive diagnosis in most cases?
The results were encouraging. They achieved a histological diagnosis in 4 out of the 5 animals. That's an 80% success rate.
That's fantastic. What kind of diagnoses did they find?
They found a meningioma in the cat, a choroid plexus tumor in 1 dog, and 2 dogs were diagnosed with astrocytomas. The 5th animal, unfortunately, didn't yield enough tissue for a conclusive diagnosis.
But even in that case, the procedure didn't cause any harm.
Exactly. A CT scan after the procedure showed no signs of bleeding or damage.
That's reassuring. Okay, so we've talked about the study itself, but let's get into the potential advantages of this technique. It sounds like it could be a real game changer.
It definitely has the potential. First and foremost, it's minimally invasive. The incision is tiny, and the discomfort to the animal is minimal compared to traditional techniques.
That's a huge plus.
Yeah.
And we already talked about the accuracy. Being able to biopsy even those tiny lesions is remarkable.
Yes, and another major advantage is the speed and simplicity. The entire procedure can be performed in under 30 minutes by a small team.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's much faster than traditional methods.
Absolutely. And because it's so efficient, it's also potentially more cost-effective, which could make it accessible to a wider range of pet owners.
That would be wonderful,
Yeah.
making this kind of advanced diagnostics available to more animals.
Exactly. And lastly, the versatility of the device is impressive. We've seen it used successfully on a variety of breeds, including brachycephalic skulls, which can be challenging.
So it really seems like this technique has a lot to offer. What about limitations? Are there any drawbacks that the researchers identified?
Of course, like any new technique, there are limitations. The most significant one is the small sample size. They only tested it on 5 animals, so larger studies are needed.
That's understandable. It's still early days for this technology.
Precisely.
Yeah.
They also acknowledged the lack of necropsy data for all the animals. Having that information would provide a more complete picture long-term.
And I imagine there are always concerns about potential complications, especially when you're dealing with the brain.
Yes, there's always a risk of complications like hemorrhage, but none of the animals in the study experienced any adverse effects.
But of course, more research is needed to determine the long-term safety.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about the present. What about the future? Where could this technology go? What's the burning question here?
The exciting possibility is using this same biopsy guide, not just to take samples, but to deliver targeted drug therapy.
Wow, so instead of just diagnosing a brain tumor, you could deliver chemotherapy drugs right to the source.
Exactly. It opens up a whole new realm of possibilities for treating neurological conditions.
This is groundbreaking stuff. We're talking about revolutionizing the way we treat brain diseases in animals.
It really does have that potential.
We've covered a lot today, from the challenges of diagnosing brain lesions to this 3D printed solution, and its incredible potential. It's inspiring to see this kind of innovation.
I completely agree. It gives us hope for even more discoveries in the future.
Yeah, it's truly remarkable how far we've come.
It is. And this research is a testament to the ingenuity of those working to improve animal health.
Absolutely. The precision that went into designing this device is impressive.
I was struck by the maxillary dental impression
Oh, yeah.
for stabilization.
It's a clever solution, using the animal's own anatomy to ensure stability during a delicate procedure.
And it seems like those removable guides on the C-arm ports add another layer of safety.
Definitely. They provide precise control over the depth of penetration for both the trephination pin and the biopsy needle.
So they've really thought of everything
Yeah.
to make this procedure as safe and effective as possible. And the adaptability of the device. They designed it to accommodate different lesion sizes with 2 or 3 insertion ports.
So they could obtain multiple biopsies from different angles.
Precisely. This allows for comprehensive sampling.
It's amazing that they were able to successfully biopsy such a small lesion in that chihuahua.
Yeah,
It really highlights the precision of this technique.
it does. And traditional brain biopsy techniques are often quite invasive, requiring larger incisions and carrying a higher risk of complications.
This 3D printed approach seems to offer a much less invasive alternative.
It does. And another aspect I found noteworthy was the speed. Under 30 minutes is remarkable.
Oh, that's a far cry from the lengthy surgeries often required.
And a shorter procedure means less time under anesthesia.
Absolutely. Reduces risk, minimizes stress, and promotes a faster recovery.
The fact that it can be performed by a small team with minimal training is another advantage.
It makes this technique potentially more accessible, even to clinics that don't have specialized equipment.
Exactly. It could democratize brain biopsies.
This research has the potential to truly transform veterinary neurology.
I agree. It's a shining example of how technology can improve animal health.
And they're already thinking about future applications, like using the device for targeted drug delivery.
That's exciting. Imagine being able to deliver chemotherapy drugs directly to a brain tumor, minimizing the side effects.
Or delivering anti-inflammatory medication directly to an area of inflammation. The possibilities are vast.
They truly are. This research feels like the tip of the iceberg.
It seems like we're on the cusp of a new era.
It does, doesn't it? It's an exhilarating time to be working in this field.
But as with any new discovery, we need to temper our excitement with a dose of caution.
Of course. More research is needed.
Larger studies are essential to fully understand the efficacy and safety of this technique.
And long-term follow-up is crucial to assess the durability of the results.
But even with these caveats, I think it's safe to say that this research is a significant step forward.
It's innovative, minimally invasive, and holds the potential to improve the lives of countless animals.
It reminds us that progress is always possible,
Yeah,
and that our understanding of animal health is constantly evolving.
I couldn't agree more. It's inspiring to see these advancements.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what are some key takeaways?
One is the value of minimally invasive techniques. We're continually striving to find ways to diagnose and treat our patients with less pain, less risk, and faster recovery times.
And this research is a perfect example.
It is, and it highlights the importance of personalization. This 3D printed device demonstrates how we can tailor treatments to the individual needs of our patients.
It's about finding the right solution for each specific patient.
Precisely. And finally, I think this research underscores the importance of continuous innovation.
There's always room for improvement, and new discoveries are waiting to be made.
And those discoveries have the power to impact the lives of animals. This research is a testament to that.
It truly is. It's a powerful reminder that we have a responsibility to provide the best possible care, and that means seeking new and better ways to diagnose, treat, and prevent disease.
Beautifully said.
So as we move into the final part of our deep dive, let's reflect on the broader implications of this research. This minimally invasive technique feels like a major leap forward. For you, what stands out as the most significant aspect of this research?
Well, what's really fascinating to me is how this research blends cutting-edge technology with really compassionate veterinary care.
Hmm.
We're seeing 3D printing being used to improve the lives of animals.
Yeah, it's amazing to think about how this technology could really transform veterinary neurology.
Yeah.
What other possibilities do you see?
Well, we're in an era of rapid advancements in veterinary medicine. From imaging to diagnostics to treatments, the pace of innovation is remarkable. This brain biopsy technique feels like a preview of even more groundbreaking discoveries to come.
Yeah, it does feel like we're on the brink of a paradigm shift
It
in
does.
how we approach neurological conditions in animals.
If we connect this to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
this research prompts us to consider the impact of these advancements on animal welfare. As we develop more sophisticated tools, we have the potential to alleviate suffering and improve quality of life for countless animals.
Yeah, it's inspiring to see the potential of this technology,
Yeah.
and it emphasizes the responsibility we have to use these advancements ethically and compassionately.
Absolutely. It's not just about scientific progress, it's about applying our knowledge to make a difference.
So as we conclude our deep dive into this groundbreaking research, what's the key message you hope our listeners take away?
The message is this: innovation in veterinary medicine is essential. We must continue to push the boundaries to provide the best possible care for our animal companions.
It's a powerful reminder that through dedication and ingenuity, we can make a difference in the lives of those who depend on us. From Vet NeuroJar, keep those minds inspired, hearts light, and tails wagging.